The crimson glow of brake lights blurred through Mira Winter's tears. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel as she struggled to keep her Audi in lane, the evening traffic on Riverside Drive crawling at an excruciating pace. She blinked hard, trying to clear her vision, but the image wouldn't fade. Nathan, her husband of 11 years, laughing in the passenger seat of a sleek black Lexus, his head thrown back in that uninhibited way he rarely showed anymore. The woman driving, auburn hair, delicate profile, reached over to touch his knee with casual intimacy. Mira's phone buzzed on the passenger seat. Nathan's message still at the office. Late meeting. Don't wait up. She glanced at the Lexus 3 cars ahead, weaving confidently through traffic. Her stomach twisted into a knot so tight she could barely breathe. 11 years of marriage, 2 miscarriages, a mortgage, countless dinner parties with his colleagues, all of it reduced to this sickening moment of clarity. Her fingers gripped the wheel until her knuckles turned white. The traffic light ahead turned yellow. The Lexus accelerated through. Mira floored the gas pedal, ignoring the blaring horns as she swerved into the next lane, running the red light to keep the black car in sight. "Who the hell are you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the pounding of her heart. 3 months earlier, Mira had noticed the first change in Nathan. Small things at first, a new cologne, gym memberships unused for years suddenly reactivated, text messages he'd angle away from her sight. She'd dismissed the warning signs, too consumed by her own career advancement at the architectural firm where she'd finally made partner. They were both busy. That's what happened in marriages, parallel lives occasionally intersecting for dinner, sleep, weekend plans. "You're being paranoid," her sister Zoe had told her over lunch last week. "Nathan worships you. He always has." But the evidence had been mounting, like a slow-motion car crash she couldn't look away from. Late nights at the office, weekend client emergencies, the sudden password changes on his phone. And now, on her way home from a site visit to one of her firm's downtown projects, unmistakable proof. Mira followed the Lexus as it turned onto Oakwood Boulevard, heading away from the city center toward the affluent suburbs. Not their suburb. Somewhere else. The woman drove with confidence, one hand casually draped over the steering wheel, the other gesturing as she spoke. Even from this distance, Mira could see Nathan's animated responses, the way his body angled toward the driver. She grabbed her phone, jabbed at the screen until it called Nathan. Through her windshield, she watched his silhouette shift in the passenger seat of the Lexus. He didn't answer. 2 minutes later, her phone buzzed with a text. In a meeting. "Call you back, liar," she hissed, throwing the phone onto the passenger seat. The suburban streets grew quieter as they drove deeper into an upscale neighborhood of sprawling modern homes set back from the road. The Lexus slowed, signaling right, and pulled into the circular driveway of a sleek, contemporary house with expansive windows and clean lines, exactly the type of architecture Nathan had always claimed to dislike when they were house hunting, years ago. Mira pulled her car to the curb across the street, killing the engine but keeping the lights off. Her breath came in short, painful gasps. She watched as Nathan stepped out of the car, circled around to the driver's side. The woman emerged, taller than Mira had imagined, elegant in a fitted blazer and pencil skirt, professional, polished. They stood close, talking, and then Nathan's hand settled at the small of the woman's back as they walked toward the front door. A sound escaped Mira's throat, part growl, part sob. She fumbled for her phone and took several blurry photos, hands shaking too badly to capture anything useful. Before they reached the door, Nathan leaned down and kissed the woman. Not a friendly peck. A kiss between lovers, familiar and intimate. Mira's vision tunneled, darkness closing in around the edges. She started the car, yanked the steering wheel, and pulled a screeching U-turn, tires protesting against the asphalt. As she accelerated away, the last thing she saw in her rearview mirror was Nathan turning toward the sound, his expression changing from confusion to shock as he recognized her car. Her phone rang immediately. Nathan's face appeared on the screen. She silenced it, then turned the phone off completely. The drive home passed in a blur. By the time she pulled into their driveway, her shock had crystallized into something harder, colder. She sat in the dark car for several minutes, staring at the house they'd chosen together. The porch light was on, the automatic timer Nathan had installed. Inside, everything would be exactly as they'd left it that morning. Coffee cups in the sink, the throw blanket folded on the couch where they'd watched a movie last night, his arm around her shoulders. All of it a lie. She didn't go inside. Instead, she backed out of the driveway and headed toward Zoe's apartment across town. Her sister answered the door in pajamas, one look at Mira's face telling her everything she needed to know. "Oh, honey," Zoe said, pulling her into a fierce hug. "What happened?" Mira collapsed into tears on her sister's couch, the whole story tumbling out between sobs. Zoe listened, her expression darkening with each detail. "You need to confront him," Zoe said when Mira had finished. "Not tonight, you're too upset. But tomorrow. Make him tell you everything." Mira shook her head, wiping angrily at her tears. "I can't even look at him right now. I might actually kill him." "Stay here tonight," Zoe offered. "Turn your phone back on just long enough to text him that you're safe and with me. Then we'll figure this out tomorrow." But the text messages and missed calls that flooded her phone when she turned it back on only fueled Mira's rage. Nathan's desperate pleas. "It's not what you think. Please come home. We need to talk." "I can explain." Each message more frantic than the last. What could he possibly explain? Mira asked, her voice hollow. That he accidentally fell into another woman's bed? That he didn't mean to lie to me for God knows how long this has been going on. Zoe took the phone from her hands. "You need to sleep. Everything looks different in the morning." But Mira didn't sleep. She lay awake on Zoe's pull-out couch, replaying every moment of her marriage, searching for the exact point where it had all started to unravel. By dawn, her sadness had hardened into resolve. She wouldn't let Nathan control the narrative. She wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her broken. She would face him on her terms. The next morning, Mira sat in her parked car outside the modern house in the suburbs, waiting. She'd left Zoe's at first light, ignoring her sister's concerned protests. Her phone remained off. Whatever Nathan wanted to say, he would have to say it to her face. At precisely 7:30 a.m., the front door opened, and Nathan emerged, looking haggard in yesterday's rumpled clothes. He paused on the doorstep, checking his phone before jogging down to the sidewalk. The woman followed a moment later, dressed for the workday in a crisp white blouse and tailored pants, travel mug in hand. They spoke briefly, Nathan's body language tense before he walked to a silver Tesla parked in the driveway. Not his car. Mira's hands tightened on the steering wheel. She'd expected to find him gone already, had planned to confront the woman alone. Seeing them together sent a fresh wave of betrayal crashing through her. The woman, this stranger who had inserted herself into Mira's life, unlocked the black Lexus. Nathan turned back toward the house, apparently retrieving something he'd forgotten. This was Mira's moment. She started her car and pulled across the street, blocking the Lexus's exit from the driveway. The woman looked up, startled, as Mira stepped out of her car. "Excuse me?" the woman called, her brow furrowed in confusion. "You're blocking me in." Mira approached slowly, heart hammering in her chest. Up close, the woman was younger than she'd expected, mid-30s perhaps, with clear green eyes and a composed, professional demeanor. Beautiful, in an understated way. "Are you sleeping with my husband?" Mira asked, her voice surprisingly steady. The woman's expression shifted from confusion to shock. "I'm sorry, what—" "Nathan Winters," Mira clarified. "My husband. The man who just left your house wearing yesterday's clothes?" Understanding dawned on the woman's face, followed immediately by something that looked remarkably like pity. "You must be Mira," she said quietly. The calm way she said Mira's name, the familiarity of it, unleashed something primal. Mira stepped closer. "How long?" Before the woman could answer, the front door opened and Nathan rushed out, stopping dead when he saw Mira. "Jesus Christ," he muttered, hurrying down the steps. "Mira, what are you doing here?" Funny, I was about to ask you the same thing, Mira replied, her voice rising. Since you told me you were working late last night. At the office, Nathan reached for her arm. Mira, please. Let's go somewhere and talk. She jerked away from his touch as if burned. Don't you dare touch me. The woman took a step forward. This isn't the place. I'm sorry, did I interrupt your morning routine? Mira spun toward her. The part where my husband kisses you goodbye before heading home to shower and change before work. Or does he keep clothes here to make it easier? Mira, stop, Nathan pleaded. This isn't Vanessa's fault. Vanessa. The name sliced through Mira like a blade. She had a name now. This betrayal had a name. How long? Mira repeated, looking between them. Nathan ran a hand through his hair, his expression pained. Can we please not do this here? The neighbors, I don't give a damn about the neighbors, Mira shouted, her composure finally cracking. How long have you been lying to me? Vanessa stepped forward, her calm professionalism never wavering. 8 months, she answered simply. But it's more complicated than you think. 8 months. While Mira had been working late to secure her partnership, while she'd been planning their anniversary trip, while she'd been decorating their house for the holidays, cooking his favorite meals, sharing his bed, 8 months of lies. Get in your car. Nathan, Mira said, her voice dangerously quiet. We're going home to talk. Actually, Vanessa interjected, we have an important meeting this morning that can't be rescheduled. Mira stared at her in disbelief. A meeting? Yes, Nathan confirmed, not meeting Mira's eyes. It's a critical client presentation. The Westlake project. You expect me to believe you're working together? Mira laughed, the sound brittle and sharp. That this is professional? We are colleagues, Vanessa said. Nathan didn't tell you? The ground seemed to shift beneath Mira's feet. Tell me what? Nathan's face paled. Mira, I was going to tell you. I've been trying to find the right time. Tell me what? She repeated, her voice rising with each word. I left Brennan and Associates 3 months ago, Nathan admitted. I've been working with Vanessa at Meridian Partners since then. The betrayal doubled, tripled in an instant. Not just an affair, a complete double life. A new job she knew nothing about. For 3 months, she had believed he was working at the same financial consulting firm where he'd been for the past decade. So every morning, when you kissed me goodbye and said you were heading to the office, Mira's voice broke. I was going to the office, Nathan insisted. Just a different one. And last night, was that a work meeting too? Vanessa and Nathan exchanged a look that Mira couldn't decipher. We should go, Vanessa said to Nathan. We can't miss this presentation. Are you serious right now? Mira stepped directly in front of her. You're sleeping with my husband, and you're worried about a meeting? Mira, please. Nathan attempted to guide her back toward her car. I'll call Howard and explain everything. I'll take the day off. We'll talk. Mira yanked her arm free again. No, you clearly think your work with her is more important than our marriage, so go. Go to your meeting. She stormed back to her car, yanked open the driver's side door, and slid behind the wheel. Through the windshield, she watched Nathan and Vanessa conferring urgently. After a moment, Nathan approached her car, leaning down to the open window. I'll call Howard right now, he said. I'll come home and explain everything. Don't bother, Mira replied, starting the engine. I need some time to think. Go to your precious meeting. Mira, don't drive like this. You're upset. Upset doesn't begin to cover it, she said, shifting the car into reverse. You have no idea what I'm capable of right now. As she backed onto the street, she saw Vanessa approach Nathan, place a hand on his arm. The familiar gesture, one Mira herself had used countless times to reassure her husband, ignited something dark and dangerous inside her. She threw the car into drive and accelerated away, tires squealing on the asphalt, leaving Nathan and Vanessa staring after her. 3 blocks away, she pulled over, hands shaking too badly to continue driving. She fumbled for her phone, turning it on to call Zoe, but before she could dial, a text from an unknown number appeared on her screen. This is Vanessa Colton. We need to talk. There's more to this situation than you realize. Please call me when you're ready. Attached was a business card image, Vanessa Colton, Executive Director, Meridian Partners, LLC. Mira stared at the screen, rage building like a physical force inside her chest. The audacity. The absolute audacity of this woman to reach out as if they were going to have some civilized conversation about the destruction of Mira's marriage. Without conscious thought, Mira found herself driving back toward Vanessa's house. As she rounded the corner, she saw the black Lexus pulling out of the driveway, Nathan in the passenger seat. They were actually going to the meeting, as if this were any normal day. Something snapped inside Mira. She accelerated, cutting across 2 lanes to fall in behind the Lexus. She would follow them, confront them properly, make them understand what they had done to her. The Lexus took the on-ramp to the highway, accelerating smoothly into the morning traffic. Mira followed, maintaining a 3-car distance, her mind racing faster than either vehicle. The betrayal felt physical now, a crushing weight on her chest, a burning in her stomach. 8 months. A new job. A new woman. A complete double life. Her phone rang, Nathan again. She silenced it without looking. The Lexus changed lanes, moving toward an exit ramp that would take them downtown toward the financial district. Mira followed, closing the distance between them. At a red light, she pulled up directly behind them. Through the rear window of the Lexus, she could see Nathan's profile as he spoke intently to Vanessa. Discussing her, no doubt. Strategizing how to handle the hysterical wife. The light turned green. The Lexus proceeded through the intersection, taking a right turn toward a stretch of road that paralleled the river, a scenic route into the city that avoided the worst of the morning traffic. Mira knew this route. They had driven it together countless times. She accelerated, pulling alongside the Lexus in the adjacent lane. Nathan spotted her immediately, his expression alarmed. He said something to Vanessa, who glanced over, her composure finally cracking into visible concern. Mira jerked her car toward them, not enough to hit them, just enough to startle. Vanessa swerved slightly, then recovered, maintaining her lane. Nathan was on his phone now, probably calling Mira again. Sure enough, her phone began ringing. "This time," she answered, putting it on speaker. "What the hell are you doing?" Nathan's voice filled the car. "Pull over. You're going to cause an accident." "Oh, now you're concerned about me," Mira shot back, keeping pace with the Lexus. "Pull over. Both of you. Right now. Mira, please," Nathan began. "Pull over," she screamed. After a moment's hesitation, the Lexus's turn signal blinked on, and the car began slowing, guiding toward a scenic overlook area that provided a view of the river below. It was early enough that the usual tourists hadn't yet arrived. The parking area was empty. Mira followed, pulling in sharply to block the Lexus from leaving. She killed the engine and stepped out, slamming her door with enough force to echo across the water. Nathan emerged from the passenger side, hands raised placatingly. "Mira, you need to calm down." "Don't you dare tell me to calm down," she hissed, advancing on him. 8 months, Nathan. 8 months of lying to my face every single day. Vanessa stepped out of the driver's side, maintaining her distance. "Mrs. Winters, Mira, I understand you're upset." "You understand nothing," Mira spun toward her. "You have no idea what you've destroyed." "This isn't helping anyone," Nathan interjected, moving between them. "Mira, please let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been living a double life. How you've been sleeping with her while coming home to me. How you've been lying about where you work, who you're with, everything." Nathan's face contorted with emotion. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Nathan?" Mira demanded. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that." Vanessa took a step forward. "Nathan and I are colleagues first," she said calmly. "Yes, our relationship has evolved, but this isn't some tawdry affair. So what is it?" Mira asked, her voice breaking. "True love, your soulmates? Is that what you've been telling yourself to justify sleeping with a married man?" "Mira," Nathan's voice softened. "Our marriage hasn't been working for a long time. You know that." The words hit her like a physical blow. "No," she whispered. "I didn't know that. 'Cause you never said that. You never gave us a chance to fix things." "I tried," Nathan insisted. For years I tried. But you were always working, always focused on the next project, the next promotion. I became an afterthought in your life. So this is my fault? Mira's voice rose in disbelief. I was building a career, Nathan. Supporting us. Supporting your dreams, too. And I was alone, Nathan countered, his composure finally cracking. Night after night, weekend after weekend. I was alone in our marriage, Mira. Vanessa shifted uncomfortably. Maybe I should give you two some privacy. No, Mira cut her off. You don't get to step gracefully out of this mess. You're right in the middle of it, she turned back to Nathan. If you were unhappy, you should have said something. We could have gone to counseling, taken time off, found our way back to each other. Instead, you chose to lie, to cheat, to build a whole separate life behind my back. I tried to tell you, Nathan's voice cracked. So many times. But you never had time to really talk. And then I met Vanessa, and for the first time in years, someone actually saw me. Listen to me. I saw you every day, Mira whispered. I loved you every day. But you didn't see me falling apart, Nathan replied, his eyes glistening. You didn't notice when I stopped sharing things with you because you were always too busy or too tired. You didn't notice when I started sleeping in the guest room 3 nights a week? This new revelation stunned Mira into silence. Had she really been so oblivious? I want a divorce, Mira, Nathan said quietly. I've wanted one for months. I just didn't know how to tell you. The world stopped. Everything around Mira, the river, the morning light, the distant sounds of traffic, faded away. There was only this moment, these words, this ending. You want a divorce, she repeated, her voice hollow. And when were you planning to mention this? After moving in with her? After emptying our bank accounts? When exactly was this revelation going to be shared with me? I was going to tell you after the Westlake presentation, Nathan admitted. It's a huge project for us, career-defining. I didn't want to jeopardize it, Mira laughed, the sound harsh and brittle. Of course, the presentation, your career. That's what matters, right? Not the fact that you've been making a fool of me for months, she turned to Vanessa. And you? Does it make you feel special being the other woman? Does it make you feel powerful, knowing you've taken something that belonged to someone else? Vanessa's professional demeanor finally cracked. He doesn't belong to anyone, she said sharply. And our relationship began after Nathan made it clear his marriage was effectively over. In his mind, maybe, Mira retorted. But not in mine. Not in reality, where vows and commitments are supposed to mean something. She stepped closer to Nathan, close enough to see the faint stubble on his jaw, to smell the familiar scent of his cologne, the one she had given him for his last birthday. You're a coward, she said softly. You didn't have the courage to face me to tell me the truth. You hid behind meetings and late nights and lies, and now you're hiding behind her. Nathan flinched as if she'd struck him. That's not fair, Mira. Fair? She echoed. You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that I've spent the last 8 months believing we were building a life together while you were dismantling it behind my back? Is it fair that you've made every memory, every moment between us a lie? She backed away from him, suddenly needing distance. Her heel caught on the uneven pavement of the overlook, and she stumbled slightly. Nathan instinctively reached for her, but she recoiled from his touch. Don't, she warned. Don't pretend you care now. Of course I care, Nathan insisted. I never wanted to hurt you. That's why this has been so difficult. Difficult for you. Mira's voice rose again. You've been living the life you wanted, with the woman you wanted, while I've been working myself to the bone trying to build the future we planned together. Don't talk to me about difficult. She turned away, moving toward the stone barrier that separated the overlook from the steep drop to the river below. The morning sun glinted off the water, painfully bright. She gripped the rough stone, trying to anchor herself in the moment, trying to breathe through the tightness in her chest. Behind her, she heard Vanessa's low voice. We should go. We're going to be late. Are you serious right now? Nathan hissed back. I can't just leave her like this. She's an adult, Vanessa replied, her voice maddeningly reasonable. And we have responsibilities, Nathan. 30 people are waiting for our presentation. Mira spun around. Go, she said, her voice deadly quiet. Go to your meeting. It's clearly more important than the wreckage of your marriage. Nathan hesitated, torn between the two women. Mira, I'm sorry. I never meant for you to find out this way. How convenient that you get to be sorry after the fact, Mira replied. After you've gotten everything you wanted. The new job, the new woman, the new life. And all it cost you was my trust, my love, and 11 years of my life. She walked back to her car, yanked open the door. Inside, her hands shook as she gripped the steering wheel, watching in the rearview mirror as Nathan and Vanessa conferred urgently by the Lexus. After a moment, Nathan approached her car window. Please don't drive like this, he said softly. You're too upset. Let me call you a cab, or Zoe. Get away from my car, Mira replied, starting the engine. Nathan stepped back, his expression resigned. We'll talk later when things are calmer. I'll come by the house tonight. Don't bother, Mira said, shifting into reverse. There's nothing left to say. She backed up sharply, forcing Nathan to jump aside. As she pulled away, she saw Vanessa waiting by the Lexus, her posture rigid with tension. In that moment, Mira made a decision. Instead of turning back toward the road, she spun the wheel, pointing her car directly at the Lexus, directly at Vanessa, who stood frozen beside it. Nathan shouted something, lunging forward, but Mira's foot was already pressing down on the accelerator. The car lurched forward, tires spinning on the gravel. Vanessa's eyes widened in shock, her professional composure finally, completely shattered. At the last possible second, Mira jerked the wheel, swerving around the Lexus, missing it by inches. She skidded to a stop, heart pounding in her chest, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Jesus Christ, Mira! Nathan was at her window instantly, yanking at the locked door. What the hell are you doing? Mira rolled the window down just enough to speak. That's how it feels, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. That's how it feels to see something coming at you that could destroy everything, and be completely powerless to stop it. Nathan stepped back, his face pale. You need help, Mira. This isn't you. You have no idea who I am anymore, she replied. And that's on you, Nathan. Not me. With that, she rolled up the window and drove away, leaving Nathan and Vanessa staring after her in stunned silence. 3 months later, Mira stood in the empty living room of what had once been their home. The last of the moving boxes had been loaded into the truck. The walls were bare, the furniture either sold or divided between them. 11 years reduced to inventory lists and legal documents. Her phone buzzed with a text from Zoe. All set on this end. New place looks amazing. You're going to love it. Mira smiled faintly. Her sister had been her rock through the worst of it. The initial shock, the rage, the grief, and finally, the slow climb toward acceptance. The divorce was nearly finalized. Nathan had moved in with Vanessa, as everyone had expected. The Westlake project had been a success, earning them both significant promotions. Life had gone on somehow. The doorbell rang. Mira took a deep breath, steeling herself. This was the moment she'd been dreading and anticipating in equal measure. The final walkthrough with Nathan, before handing over the keys to the new owners. She opened the door to find Nathan standing on the porch, looking surprisingly uncertain. The confidence he'd always carried like a second skin seemed diminished somehow. Hi, he said simply. Hi. Mira stepped aside to let him in. I'm all done. Just doing a final check. Nathan nodded, entering the empty house. He stood in the center of the living room, hands in his pockets, looking around at the bare walls. Feels strange, he observed. Smaller, without everything in it. Mira nodded, maintaining her distance. The raw, visceral anger that had consumed her for weeks after the confrontation had gradually subsided, replaced by a dull ache that flared occasionally, but no longer threatened to consume her. She'd had time to reflect, to process, to begin rebuilding. How's the new place? Nathan asked, attempting normalcy. Good, Mira replied. Downtown, closer to the firm. Zoe helped me find it. And the partnership? Going well? Yes. This, at least, was a bright spot. Her work had become her sanctuary during the worst of the divorce proceedings. We just landed the riverfront development project. I heard, Nathan said, a hint of pride in his voice. That's huge, Mira. Congratulations. An awkward silence fell between them. So much history, so many words spoken and unspoken, filling the empty space. I wanted to say, Nathan began. Don't, Mira cut him off gently. We've said everything that needs saying. No, he insisted. We haven't. I never properly apologized, Mira. Not really. I was too busy defending myself, explaining myself. But the truth is, I handled everything wrong. I should have been honest with you about my unhappiness, about the job change, about everything. You deserved that much. Mira studied him, this man she had once known better than herself. Or thought she had. Yes, she agreed quietly. I did deserve that much, Nathan nodded, accepting the rebuke without argument. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I recognize the pain I caused. And I'm sorry. Mira moved to the large picture window that overlooked the backyard, the garden she'd tended so carefully each spring, the patio where they'd hosted countless summer barbecues. From this angle, she could see the neighbor's cherry tree in full bloom, pink petals drifting in the gentle breeze. You know what the hardest part was? She asked, her back still to him. It wasn't the affair, or even the lies. It was realizing that while I was pouring my heart and soul into our future, you had already decided we didn't have one. She turned to face him. You checked out of our marriage long before Vanessa came into the picture. You just didn't have the courage to tell me. Nathan didn't deny it. I think we both checked out in different ways, he said carefully. You into your work, me into silence, I guess, and then resentment. Maybe, Mira conceded. But we'll never know if we could have fixed it, because you never gave us that chance. Nathan moved to stand beside her at the window, keeping a respectful distance. For what it's worth, I've thought about that moment a lot. The moment at the overlook when you... He paused. When you swerved around us, Mira tensed. They hadn't spoken about that day since it happened. By mutual, unspoken agreement, it had been filed away as a moment of temporary insanity, a heat of passion reaction that neither of them wanted to dwell on. I wasn't actually going to hit you, she said softly. I know, Nathan replied. But in that moment I thought you might, and it made me realize how deeply I had hurt you, how completely I had shattered your trust. Mira turned to face him fully. I scared myself that day. I've never felt that kind of rage before. Like I could destroy everything. You, her, myself, just to make the pain stop. I'm glad you didn't, Nathan said simply. Me too, Mira admitted. It was a wake-up call. I got into therapy the next week, Nathan nodded. Same, it's helping. Another silence fell between them, less awkward this time. Outside, a moving truck rumbled past. New neighbors, new beginnings. How is she? Mira asked, surprising herself with the question. Vanessa. Nathan hesitated, clearly uncertain how to navigate this territory. She's good. The firm just promoted her to partner. Good for her, Mira said, and found she actually meant it. The white-hot hatred she had felt for this woman had gradually cooled into something more complex. Not forgiveness, exactly, but a reluctant recognition of a fellow human caught in a complicated situation. Are you happy, Nathan? She asked suddenly. He considered the question carefully. Getting there, he answered honestly. Different than I expected, but yes. Are you? Mira thought about her new apartment, her thriving career, the slow, painful process of rediscovering herself outside the context of their marriage. Getting there, she echoed. Some days are better than others. Nathan nodded, understanding. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his house key, placing it on the empty mantel. I should go. The new owners are meeting me here at 5. Mira nodded. I left my key on the kitchen counter. They walked to the front door together. Two people who had once shared everything now carefully navigating the boundaries of their new reality. On the porch, Nathan turned to her one last time. For whatever it's worth, Mira, what we had was real. For a long time, it was very real. I hope you know that, Mira smiled sadly. I do know that. I just wish it had been enough. As she walked to her car, she felt a strange sense of closure washing over her. The house behind her, the life she had built and lost, was now truly in the past. Ahead lay uncertainty, but also possibility. She started the engine, adjusted her rearview mirror, and saw Nathan standing on the porch, watching her. She lifted her hand in a small wave. He returned the gesture, then turned and walked back into the empty house. Mira pulled away from the curb, accelerating gently into the future that awaited her, one she would build on her own terms, with clear eyes and an open heart. The road ahead stretched out before her, unknown but full of promise. She didn't look back.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.